Let me tell you about a conversation that I had that changed the way that I think about money. I was in the middle of that conversation with someone who was about to become a client, and I quoted my price. I said $6,000. And before I could say anything else, they said, "Oh, I was going to tell you that I thought it should be more than that." And then I stopped because I had been thinking the exact same thing. I knew the amount of work that went into what I do. I knew what it was worth. And I had quoted $6,000 when I knew that it should really be 8,000. So I said, "You know what? I am going to my website right now and I am going to change the price." And that's exactly what I did. Right then and there. I didn't hesitate. I didn't think about it twice. I just did it in the middle of the conversation. And what happened in that moment, it was not just changing the price, it was also a mindset change. And today, I want to talk about what that mindset change actually means and why I think that so many of us, we take so long to get there. So, first, let me take you back to when I started. I used to charge $350 for my work. And that took me sometimes 40 hours or more. 40 hours for $350. And I want to be honest about why I charge so little. It was not because I did not know my skills. It was not because I didn't know my credentials. I had the credentials, I had the background. I had built websites before. I knew what I was doing. But I had told myself a story, and the story, it went something like this: nobody knows me yet. I do not have enough clients. I do not have enough testimonials from well known people, so I cannot charge more until I have more proof. So I charged what I thought I was allowed to charge, not what the work was worth, but what I felt I had earned the right to charge. And here's the most honest thing that I can say about that: I was not charging $350 because that was the market rate. I was charging $350 because somewhere inside of me, I felt like the client was actually doing me a favor by hiring me at all. And I was so desperate for the yes that I made the price easy for someone to say yes. Even if it meant that I was going to be working 40 hours for a number that did not reflect a single hour of what I put in. And that was not a business problem. That is a relationship with money problem. That is a relationship with yourself problem. And until you fix that relationship, the price will always be too low. No matter how many clients you get, no matter how much experience you accumulate, no matter how good the results are, the story that you tell yourself about what you deserve, it will always set a ceiling for you. So here's what changed. It was not a one moment change. It was just a bunch of things accumulating, slow accumulation, a lot of evidence that the story that I was telling myself, it was not true. I started paying attention to what the work that I was doing actually cost me. And not just in money, not just in time, but also in energy, in expertise, in the years that I had spent building the skill that made the work possible. And I started to understand something that I think it completely shifted how I was seeing pricing, because when you charge $350, the work still take the time that it takes. When you charge $8,000, the work still take the time that it takes. You are still using your time, you are still using your expertise, you are still using your energy. The difference in the price is not the work. The difference in the price is your mindset. Your mindset around money. And when I understood that, I stopped trying to justify my price based on what I thought people could afford. I stopped lowering the number before I even said it out loud, because I was pre-negotiating with an imaginary objection that the person might have. So I stopped treating my price like it was a question, and I started treating it like it was a statement. The number is what it is. The price is what it is. It is either for you or it is not for you. But either way, I'm okay. And I'm okay. It's not because I do not care whether you say yes, but it's because I am no longer desperate for any yes at any price. That is a completely different energy. And people feel it, because those who cannot afford it, they just don't even ask. And I want to name something that does not get named enough in conversations about pricing. I feel that as women, we undercharge a lot because of the stories that we tell ourselves. And it's not because of the market, not because of what clients can afford, because we don't know what the person can really afford. It's not even because of the competition or that the market is saturated. It's because of the ceiling that we install inside of our own heads. The story that says, I am not known enough yet. The story that says, who am I to even charge that? The story that says, if I charge too much, nobody will hire me. Also, the story that says, I should be grateful that someone is even willing to work with me at all. And I want to be honest about where those stories they come from. For immigrant women, I always say that there is an extra layer, and there is, because we were taught sometimes explicitly, sometimes just by watching, that we should be grateful for whatever we get, because it is an opportunity to be in the room. And if you want more, somehow you're getting above yourself. That the price we charge, it should reflect our gratitude, not our expertise. And we carry that into our businesses without even realizing that we are doing that, even when we are in a different country. But here is the thing. A humble person can still charge what the work is worth. Because knowing your value, it is not arrogance. It is accuracy. And the sooner you separate those two things, the sooner the price becomes what it was always supposed to be. A statement. Your price is not a negotiation. Let me be practical about this, because I think that a lot of people, they hear people saying a lot, charge your worth. And they do not know what that actually looks like in practice. Charging your worth, it looks like knowing your number before you get on a phone call with a client. Because you're not going to calculate that number based on how interested they are. You're not adjusting it based on what you think that they can afford. Knowing that number before the conversation starts and then saying it confidently without a nervous laugh, without over explaining, without the, oh, you know what, it is only X amount of dollar, without the, I know that it is a lot, but you just state the number. You're clear, you're direct, you're held, and it looks like talking about your offers all the time. And this is something that I'm learning to do more now also. So I'm right here with you. And this is not just when you need money. It is not just at the end of the month when you are behind on your goals, but you have to constantly do that in your content, in your stories, on your website, in your emails, in every conversation. And also where it is very relevant, because the woman who only talks about her offer when she needs a sale, she sounds desperate. The woman who talks about her offer because she genuinely believes in it, she genuinely believes in its value, she sounds like someone worth hiring. It looks like being okay with someone saying no, not chasing after it, not negotiating it away, not offering a payment plan before they even said no. It is just being okay with the fact that not everyone is meant to be your client, especially your family. And the right people, they will say yes. It's that simple. So I went from charging $350 for 40 hours of work to sitting in a conversation and then changing my price live on my website because I knew the work was worth more. And that is not a pricing strategy. That is what happened when you change your relationship with yourself. The price that you charge, I feel like it's a direct reflection of the story that we tell ourselves about our worth. And we have the power to change that story. And we don't have to pretend. We don't have to force ourselves to say a number that does not feel true to us yet. Just look at what you actually know. Look at your skills. Look at how long the work takes, what you actually bring, what the work actually costs. And then you let that be the number. I came from a country where I learned very early that you had to be grateful for what you had. And I carried that gratitude into rooms that I was told I did not belong in, into pricing conversations where gratitude was costing me tens of thousands of dollars. But the day I understood that knowing my worth, it was not in gratitude. That was the day that the price changed. And it has not gone back since. All right. So I'm Webley, a launch strategist and funnel engineer for coaches. And if this resonates with you, hit subscribe and drop a comment below and tell me, what story have you been telling yourself about what you are allowed to charge for your services, for your products? I want to read every single one of your answers. And with that, I will see you in the next video.